Okay, so we were talking about Reaganomics, that is a popular term used to refer to the economic policies of Ronald Reagan. And as I said, he was the 40th US president, 1981 to 89. For 5 years, he was there. Not 5 years rather. He was there for a longer time, for 8 years. And he was very popular because he was a very popular superstar in Hollywood also. Okay, so now what is this Reaganomics about? Okay, so it is also this is called due to the wide spread. Okay, so there was widespread tax cuts. Okay, so tax were cuts at that time of time. Okay, and then there was decreased social spending. So social spending was also decreased, tax rates were less. Okay, spending, and also there was deregulation of domestic markets. Okay, so there was deregulation of the domestic markets, and these were the first time these economic policies were introduced in response to a prolonged period of economic. So there was actually this was brought, let me write it down, it was brought due to prolonged stagflation. So I told you the meaning of stagflation, that began under the president of Ford, okay, in 1976. So when the Gerald Ford was the president before President Ronald Reagan, 1976, so there was stagflation in America, and just to change that, Reaganomics was used, and it's a popular term because here there was widespread tax cut, as I said, then there was decrease of social spending, and then there was deregulation of domestic markets. Okay, so now let's just come back to the basics. Okay, so let me just rub this first. So I think I've explained to you all the very famous and very important economic terms which are related to inflation. So now let's go back to basics, and let me just rub this. Okay, so the first thing which I will write is headline versus core inflation. Okay, so now headline versus core inflation is very important. Okay, so now let me just write what is headline inflation. The headline inflation measures, demonstrates overall inflation in the economy. Okay, so it is the overall, so headline inflation is basically used when you want to demonstrate the overall inflation in the economy. Okay, so what about core inflation? So let us just write about core inflation. So core inflation measures exclude, now this is very important, the prices of highly volatile food and fuel components from the, so you know that we have, when we are doing the inflation index, we also have to add the volatile food, like how much is the prices increasing or decreasing, and the fuel also is very important component. But in core inflation we are excluding the prices of highly volatile food and fuel components. So that is the only difference between core inflation and headline. Okay, now let me give you some information of inflation in India. Okay, so just let me rub this. The inflation process in India is, dominated, like, it is like, very much influenced, you can say, dominated to a great extent by supply shocks. Now I had told you the meaning of supply shocks also. So now what kind of supply shocks, like, rainfall, suddenly there's a supply deficit, okay, oil price, so oil price shocks and etc. So some more are there, but mostly it is oil price or rainfall, okay, and they are generally of temporary in nature. So I'll write are temporary in nature and hence produce only temporary movements in the prices, okay. So this is always happening, so that is why it's only in the movement of relative prices. So it's not like, hampering or is affecting the prices completely. A little bit temporary problem happens due to rainfall and oil prices. It's for temporary nature, okay. Now, as I told you, there are two policies where, inflation is of, we can protect inflation from India and any other country also. So monetary policy, so let me write down, since monetary policy is a tool to manage aggregate demand pressure. So basically whenever the demand is like, too much of demand is required, so monetary policy is a tool which, reduces the demand pressure, okay, with the response to temporary shocks, okay. Now that is why, now I'll continue writing something more about core inflation, that is very important. So let me just rub this. Okay, core inflation, okay. So when you, as I said, I told you also what happens in core inflation. It excludes, let me repeat again, the highly volatile food and fuel components, and therefore represents the trend of inflation. So this trend, like how the inflation is going this year and how the inflation is trend, is like what fashion the inflation is happening. So like last year we'll compare with this year, so that is called as trend. Now this trend is very important, so I'll write down here the trend inflation drives the future path. So this is the very important point to remember, because this trend of inflation will drive the future path of the overall inflation. So based on, say for example, every year if you are seeing inflation, so that the next 5 years when I'm planning something, looking at the last 5 years trend, I will understand that what will be my overall inflation. So that is what I'm writing here, overall inflation. So hence, even when food and fuel inflation, reduces, or I can write moderates or reduces over time, Okay, high inflation in non-food is increasing. Okay, high inflation in non-food, okay, non-food or non-fuel, you know, will create a lot of challenge. Okay, because you know, so will create challenge. And who it will create? It will create to the monetary policy. So let me write down this more, it will be more clear to you. So let me just rub this. So let me write it once more here. Non-food, non-fuel components pose an upward risk to overall future inflation. And what happens just because there is an upward risk? So it creates challenges to the monetary policy. Okay, so now that is a very very big problem, because you know, it is creating an upward risk, and always there is, like, you know, because of this future inflation is creating a challenge. So non-food and non-fuel components pose an upward risk to overall future inflation, and it's a big challenge. So now we have to control. Now how do we control inflation? So the next thing what we will know is how to control inflation. So let me wrap this. So the next thing is how to control inflation. Okay, so before understanding this, we have to understand certain basic concepts or relationships. So let me write down here. Let's understand some basic relationship. Okay, so the first basic relationship we will see is money supply and interest. Okay, so money supply and interest rate is the first thing. Okay, so now money supply, what is money supply? So let me write down here. Money supply, in very easy words I'll explain to you. Money supply in an economy is basically, you know, controlled by the central bank. So who are the central banks? The RBI. So is controlled by the central banks.